You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. This is Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com, thechrisvossshow.com. Welcome to the big show, my friends and family. We certainly appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you haven't enlisted, we're like an MLM, folks, here at the Chris Voss Show. Multi-level marketing, if you don't know what that means. And we're asking all listeners of the Chris Voss Show to recruit at least 5 friends and family to the show. So you need to do your part or else. I don't know what or else means. We're just making this up as we go along, people. But, you can put your arm around your friend, relative, tell them to join the Chris Voss family. This family that loves you but doesn't judge you. And fun is fun. Tell them to go to youtube.com/Chris Voss, goodreads.com/Chris Voss, and to get those people in your downline, damn it. I don't know what the hell that means. Anyway, guys, we have an amazing gentleman on the show. We're gonna be sassy today. We're gonna talk about SaaS companies, growthstackinc.com, and we're gonna be talking with their CEO and everything he does. And here in a second, so we're gonna do that. It's a sassy show. It's very sassy today. Kevin Petersen is on the show with us today. He is the founder and CEO of GrowthStack Incorporated. Kevin is a marketing automation specialist with 21 years of experience working with companies like Charles Schwab and Wells Fargo, and have founder shares on Assignment Incorporated, New York Stock Exchange listed company, ASGM now. Petersen's SaaS experience includes growing a file sharing platform to 7 figures revenue in its first year, an award-winning music industry startup, and several portfolio brands that realized greater than 50% year-over-year since acquisition. He is the founding member of Level Up SaaS Mastermind, a principal of Longtail Pro, principal of Online PR Media, and co-founder of Big Hearted Men, where he volunteers to give his community back in the Northern Nevada area. Welcome to the show. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you, Chris. And thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebages.
Yeah, growthstackinc.com. That's growthstackinc.com.
There you go. So what is GrowthStack Incorporated, in your words?
Yeah, so effectively it's a private equity firm that buys and operates cash flowing SaaS businesses. So SaaS is software as a service. So think of any software that you've ever paid a subscription for and you're on track. Mm-hmm. The most, I think the brands that are most commonly known now are like Zoom. It's a publicly traded company. It's certainly a SaaS. Zillow kind of falls into that category. So yeah, any software that you would pay for on a monthly basis to have access to this tool that you use, and you don't have to maintain it. You don't have to have programmers. Somebody else is doing all the back end stuff. So you just pay for it and use it. That's SaaS.
Is OnlyFans a SaaS company?
Which one?
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans, technically, let me think about that for a second before I get to it. I know you're kind of joking, but
I'm joking.
But it's I personally have not spent any money there, but I have 100% respect for what they've built because it's fascinating. It kind of is a SaaS once somebody starts paying for it, I guess.
Note to self: launch your Chris Voss Show OnlyFans channel. All right, so we got that.
Exactly.
Got that validated. All right, all jokes aside. So, give us an overview of how long you guys been doing this. When did you start? What got you into this business?
Yeah, so GrowthStack has been around for about 8 years now, and we are not only acquirers of SaaS businesses but operators. So we locate businesses that have reached some level of success, and then our team comes in and we buy majority share interest in that business. We bring in staff to run it and actually accelerate growth. And then, when it's a win, it's good for everybody, where it's, we've got a portfolio company that we feel good about and are putting energy in, and it's good for our investors as well.
There you go. And you have a magnificent beard, I should mention. You starred in Kill Bill, I believe, as the Fu Manchu guy.
I didn't think you recognized me, but yes.
I did. It was the. I need a magnificent beard like that, just so I can go like this all day.
You can do it, because
Really
I had the goatee for years, and then during COVID, I started growing it longer, and then it's been 2 years since it started going this route.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I was saying to my family, "Hey, first day of spring, I'm cutting it off," and then I didn't, and then now. Now it actually garners a lot of attention. So now I'd almost feel guilty if I did cut.
Plus, it keeps the wife away from you, so that's always good.
Well, yeah, exactly. Good for her.
See, I'm single. I don't have to deal with anything. I don't have to keep the wife away from me. They chase me around. No, but if I had your sort of beard, I would walk around just like that Kill Bill Fu Manchu guy, where it'd be like,
there you go.
Every time someone would say something to me, I just go,
And I do that. I actually do
really?
that. Yeah, if I'm on investor calls, absolutely. There will be times where it's appropriate to have the awkward pause and grab my beard and look contemplative.
I think you have to look dismissive of people, or like you're judging them harshly. Like I would do that, like at McDonald's at the line when you're ordering fast food, and they're like, "Do you want fries with that, or you want the medium?" I'd be like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then I would talk in a Japanese accent. People would be like, "You're not Japanese. What is wrong with you?" But that's pretty much what people do.
For me, it's really getting back to my Viking roots.
There you go.
My last name is Petersen, S-E-N, so that's a Danish name. And,
there you go. So, well, you can go take England now. So back on track to your company. So are you currently looking for companies to acquire? Is that part of our audience base?
Yes.
Reach out to you for?
100%. And so let me just also mention that and you mentioned at the top of the call that I do run a mastermind for SaaS founders and investors. And so I see deal flow constantly, and I have a pool of investors at every level of play. So from, startups that are either not yet producing revenue or barely producing revenue, up to, companies that are doing, 8 or maybe even 9 figures revenue. I see them all.
There you go.
So, absolutely. Connecting founders with capital is what I do every day.
Cool. So would you guys call yourself kind of a venture capitalist firm then?
Kind of. We're more in the PE bucket, and the distinction there is that, and I'm about to piss off all the VC members of your audience. The distinction there is that VCs kind of don't care if they only get it right 1 out of 14 times, right?
Yeah.
They're okay putting 10 or 50 or 100 million into a company, or in some cases $1 billion, to see what happens.
Yeah.
That's not us. Like, we buy cash flowing B2B SaaS, that are producing typically 2 to 10 million net income at time of transaction. So we're looking for companies that are already, they're already in market. They've already gone through proof of concept. They already have a small but loyal customer base. And then I'm just going to finish this spiel. This is something I talk about all the time in my mastermind. The deal is, what makes this space interesting is that I get to meet super savvy founders from around the world every day. And that, for me, that's the juice. I just love meeting with innovative people that are visionaries, and they're inventing stuff and taking it to market. The flip side of that equation is that most SaaS founders are techies. Like, they're tech savvy, but they're not necessarily business savvy. So typically they grow they go through proof of concept, they build a loyal customer base, and then at some point they hit a ceiling where they're like, wow, we are not the guys to scale this. I've never had a SaaS founder or a tech founder in any field come to me and say, hey, you know what I dream of? I dream of recruiting and hiring salespeople and training them and motivating them and looking at their comp plans and their KPIs. They don't have a passion for that.
Yeah.
They have a passion for building the very best widget they can and taking it to market. And so that's where we come in. It's when they hit that ceiling, they're like, okay, so we've kind of like, we're out over our skis now and we're not sure what to do next. That's when my team can come in with capital and expertise to accelerate growth.
And you guys have a lot of companies in your portfolio. Is there special? I mean, you kind of gave us a range of revenue things and stuff. Is there any other sort of other criteria that you use in the companies you have, or any favorites maybe that you're looking for?
Sure. Yeah. So we are industry agnostic, but that said, there are industries that we're favoring at any given time. One that we're keenly interested in right now is supply chain tech. And the reason is the world supply chains are basically, and again, I'm going to piss off some people in your audience. I'm sorry.
Let's piss them off. I mean, they have to listen to me for 13 years. Right? There's a couple of them that are pissed off at this point.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, think about this. So there's been a lot of attention on supply chain and supply chain inefficiency in the last couple of years, right? I mean, it's not a secret. It's in the media. Most people have some awareness that there are issues with supply chain. And if you think about it, some of the supply chains that the world leans on to survive are literally 10,000-year-old industries that have never had any real tech adoption. And I just pissed off people, but there it is. It's a space for us as a species to step up, right? Start using more tech, get smart about how we use tech so that supply chains are more efficient. And just as an example, we're not losing 30% of our food before it gets to market, or we're not. One of the things that got a lot of attention during the pandemic was, okay, well, there are, the first iteration of the vaccines had to be temperature controlled, and some of them were being lost en route, like they didn't make it to people who wanted them because they spoiled before they got there. So there are ways to. And then, and since then, there's been a lot of attention on, okay, well, auto manufacturers can't get their product to market because they're out of chips. Right now, eggs are a thing. For a while, toilet paper was a thing, right?
I remember when toilet paper was a thing, but yeah, eggs are a thing. I don't eat a lot of eggs because I'm veganese right now and losing weight. And I went to my local health food store, and they had on the front, "We have eggs," and I was like, "Why the hell would you put that on the front of the sign?" Like, so what? Like, you're a store. Like, do you have milk too or something? What's going on? And so I went in. I was joking with the cashier, and she goes, "You don't know there's like an egg shortage crisis." And I'm like, "No, I don't." And so I moved all my money out of Bitcoin and Tesla into eggs, and now
you did the right thing. Yeah,
I'm a trillionaire now. So I'm probably quitting the show after this, but that's enough. That but that egg market is cracked. I'm just waiting for it to crack. I don't know. There's a joke there somewhere. Let's move on. I don't know where I'm going with that. So you guys, you have the mastermind. So you help people. You do the investments, and you're always looking for stuff to put in there. I was reading something that's kind of interesting. I think it came up in LinkedIn in the news. That a lot of companies now are looking to move their supply chain sources to Mexico because of so many problems they have, with the container ship issue and the supply chain problems. Any thoughts on that? Because, that way you don't have to worry about container ships so much, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But actually, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm looking to solve for is, how do you get product from manufacturer or farm or pharmaceutical or wherever it's coming from and get it to its destination more efficiently. So yeah, Mexico, that could be one solution, but there are ways to make the supply chain more efficient globally without just saying, oh, well, let's just not ship from that market anymore. Let's ship that market elsewhere.
I mean, when you really think about it, it's a proven supply chain source, Mexico. I mean, heroin and cocaine seem to come here fairly well.
That's right.
That's a joke, people. We're doing comedy. Exactly. Yes, right. We do comedy entertainment on the show. Don't write me. Or, don't kill me. Either way.
That's us.
There's a cartel right now going put a hit on him. Take him out. So anyway, I like swinging from. Yeah, that's a bad joke. Anyway, do you mostly look for companies in the U.S. or are you looking at companies overseas?
We look globally all the time.
All right. So anybody in the world is
potentially. Yeah. I did buy a company from Ukraine before the war.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience because I learned a lot from that. It was a great experience for me personally, just because it gave me a better global view of microcosm and macro and what's reported in the media and what's not. Because, it was about 7 years ago that I bought this company. And at the time, like the people on my team were telling me, hey, yeah, everybody on the team sends $50 out of every check to our military because we're losing people on the border every day.
Wow.
And your media is not reporting it.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting. And what they told me at the time was, yeah, if you're in Ukraine and you're male, you're either on the front line fighting the Russians in these minor skirmishes at the time anyway, or you're sending money to the military because we cannot afford our own military. So if you're making money, if you're working, making money, you send a little money out of every check to the front line.
That's interesting.
So it was fascinating. And then just, we knew the war was coming.
We should do that here because maybe Afghanistan and Iraq war would have ended sooner if people had had to pay directly out of pocket for it.
No kidding.
Except for the roundabout.
Seriously.
Yeah, the news is hard. I mean, unless you say the Kardashians, like every 5 minutes, people don't stay awake through the news.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
The Kardashians? What happened? Welcome to our world.
Yeah. I'll share another anecdotal story if you want to hear one. It's short.
Sure, please.
And it's, to me, again, it's interesting and it's eye-opening. So I think this will be interesting to your audience, right? That my project manager in Ukraine at one time called me up and said, hey, my iPhone broke. And I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll send you a new one. And he's like, no. Don't do it. I'm like, why is that? He said, if people in my town see me with a brand new iPhone, like I'm either going to get beat up or mugged, or the police are going to assume I'm working for the other side.
That's usually Android users punishing iPhone people for buying a smartphone. Yeah. That's usually what that is. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a joke.
Yeah.
People over
Android envy or something like that. Yes. So what he said was, hey, I got a friend that's got an old iPhone and he'll sell it to me for $150. And then I said, well, so you just want me to send you $150 so you can get a different iPhone? He's like, yes. I'm like, done. So, and then there are other ironies there too as well, which is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go down this path, but apparently in 2023, it's easier to land a cargo plane on a runway in Iran full of $300 million in cash and cash instruments and abandon it there on purpose than it is for me to send like $150 to a programmer in Ukraine or Pakistan or name a country. It's hard to move money. It's amazingly hard to move money around the world for legitimate business purposes. Even while, like you kind of alluded to that. Yeah, the fact that the government could just drop money anywhere.
Yeah, what you should probably do is just contact those cartel people in Mexico. They're evidently
exactly. Just have them. Yeah. They probably have the network in place.
I think this is the source of all of our future things. So let me ask you this: with SaaS, what do you see? Do you see an integration with SaaS? And there's the Chat GPT that everyone won't shut the hell up. I mean, they're talking about now.
Yeah. Have you played with it?
I haven't. I'm letting everybody else do it because
I did, and it's insane. It is. Really? It's the real deal. Yeah. I cannot emphasize enough how this is a real paradigm shift for our society. It's the real thing, and this is going to happen faster than people realize. And just in terms of AI taking over stuff, right? So over the next 24 months, there's going to be a real kind of quake in the marketplace for certain types of talent. And it is going to change people's jobs and their lives. And it is going to create lots of college kids not writing their own papers anymore.
Not like they did before anyway. Well, did they really? I don't know. I think there's a million ways. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. They issued some sort of tool for it where you could tell if it's cheat whatever. And so many people are saying, well, it might replace podcasting. I'm like, good luck with that. Nobody can be as funny and stupid as I am for 13 years.
Yeah.
Well,
so
you didn't
actually
have to agree with me, Kevin.
So here's the thing. So so here's the thing. The way I look at it is jobs will change but not go away. So I'll give you two examples. One is bloggers, right? Bloggers should be afraid right now, but there's a silver lining, right? There's always a silver lining with technology. So people that are accustomed to writing original content and selling it to make a living are going to be editors. There's no reason to take 2 hours to do research and write an article now. You can have ChatGPT write it in a minute and a half, and then you can be the editor, and you can still be the expert. And to your point about podcasting, like the human element is a real thing still.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a certain talent or a certain skill or if you're really a deep expert on a subject, nothing can replace that.
Yeah.
But your role in the process might change. And in fact, in a perfect world, it'll make you actually more efficient, so that you're producing more content in a shorter time. And
there you go.
Higher quality.
Note to self, see how Open GPT is going to affect that launching of the OnlyFans callback joke I did earlier. I don't know what that means. But someone's asking on the thing. They're asking on the thing. There's a comment here. Where do you see POS software going? And at first I thought they meant piece of but I think they mean something else. I don't know if that's
point of sale, I'm presuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they might have meant the other, but let's go with point of sale. Yeah.
Maybe it is.
You never know.
POS. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he's referring to certain SaaS companies or something. I don't know. He might have been referring to Zoom earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll take kind of a blind stab at that and just say, AI is going to influence software. Software as a service eventually will become platform as a service, which is like an all-in-one solution, like like Alexa, only smarter.
Alexa
right?
is smarter. Like, so basically smarter, Google Home then. I'm just kidding. We have we have issues with the Alexa here at the Chris Voss Show. When you ask it to play the podcast, it has trouble, and then when you don't, or when you use Google Home, of course, it knows exactly what to do. But my YouTube channel is on Google, so I think that's what the difference is. Although we're on Amazon, we're on two places on Amazon. We're in Amazon Music and Amazon audiobooks, which I don't know why, because we're not an audiobook, but they decided to put us over there. I think I'm going to follow up from Dean, who's asked that POS software question. Restaurant software. Is there SaaS restaurant software?
There absolutely is SaaS for restaurants, and it's good.
Is it that crap that it's always asking me to tip 10% just because the waitress is right there giving me the guilt trip?
No,
okay.
It's not. Yeah, so the idea is just to make that whole process of serving food more efficient, right? So people can order at their tables. There's fewer interactions with the human servers. They're not running back and forth as in the restaurant industry. Everything is about trips. How many trips do you have to make to a table in order to serve that customer, keep them happy, and make money, right?
I like when they trip and they drop the whole tray and it ends up on YouTube or TikTok or something. I know McDonald's has like a new thing. They have like one location somewhere that's completely dehumanized. Is that the right word?
Yeah, 100% going that way. All fast food. Within the next few years, you'll see fast food places going to a 2-human model, right? So you've got a kiosk up front where people order, the robots in the back that are producing the goods, and then you've got a manager and a techie on site in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, because it's installed software, right? You can't have that go down, or else people can't get their. Yeah. We've seen in a few locales over the years where if people can't get their Big Macs, their shots fired. So
no kidding.
You gotta have a manager that complain. Maybe we need to make that so that there's a Karen SaaS complaint receiver bot or something, so that the Karens have something to yell at. You didn't put the pickles in the right position order on the Big Mac. which we all know is a heinous crime. So there's that. What about, I saw somebody commenting the other day about Web 3.0 and how no one's talking about that anymore since OpenGPT. Did you see Web 3 being a future influence?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have my own negative biases against that because here's the thing. So do you remember this whole Second Life thing that was about, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a really big deal. And I remember reading articles about like, oh, Coca-Cola, I'm sorry, Coca-Cola, I'm making this up, but Coca-Cola just put in 100 million into Second Life, and they're going to have Coca-Cola billboards and in the virtual universe, and you'll be able to order Coca-Cola while you're in the game. And effectively what happened was people started having their Second Life, and they're like, wow, in the Second Life, just like in real life, in Second Life, you can't only have rock stars, right? Somebody's got to be an insurance salesman. And so somebody's like, yeah, this kind of sucks. Like, I'm a dentist during the day, and then I'm an insurance salesman in Second Life at night. Like, this is lame.
That's why you have the OnlyFans after that. You have the Second Life, and then OnlyFans. But no, that was really funny. There you go. I saw the Second Life stuff. I remember the time it really hit me in the brain. Somebody paid like $400,000 or something for like a virtual nightclub on there.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Yeah, people are building virtual real estate, and there are virtual realtors selling the virtual real estate. It was like everything.
And the graphics were actually better than most of the stuff I see from Meta.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, see, that's what I'm wondering. This whole like Web 3.0 thing, like I just don't know why. I personally feel like, okay, we've already done that. We tried the Second Life thing, and it was fun for about a minute, and then it went away.
The Meta thing, is bombing horribly. Like I think it was the UN or somebody. They spent $400,000 to build out some thing, and like 4 people showed up or something.
Yeah.
And my friends, they really love it. And I go on there and I'm like, I'm going back to PC Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2.
Yes.
I kind of like graphics. And I also like to see the lower half of torsos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not something that, I have a fetish for. It's just, I just think it completes the game of like, okay, I feel like I'm in real life playing a game. And hunting and killing.
Yeah, I think you may have just hit the nail on the head there, right? Is that there's not enough separation between entertainment and real life there. Yeah. And then people start feeling like, wow, now I got another job. Like I just got home from my one job, and I got another job. I got to go online and like talk to all these other avatars.
Sounds like my whole weekend on Modern Warfare 2 DMZ. We played so much. I saw a guy on the roof of McDonald's this morning, and I almost screamed out, "Guy on the roof, snipe him!" And then I had to explain to the police why I sniped him off the roof. So there's too much of that going on. But the open chat GPT is really interesting. Maybe it's one of those things where I can, when I go to In-N-Out Burger, I went there the other weekend night, and I was making fun of people who don't have an In-N-Out Burger next to them in certain parts of the country, because that's what I do. It's trying to mock people and shame them.
Sure.
That's pretty much most of my activity on Facebook. But we've all been there, and it'll be on OnlyFans too later. You have to pay extra for that channel though. But the maybe I asked for usually a special recipe, the secret recipe, and I kind of I asked double cheese, double animal style stuff. So that's also available, the animal style and the OnlyFans callback joke. So maybe Open GPT can make it so that you can get a better food, or I don't know. It's kind of, and it's it seems like people really think there's kind of an endless possibility to it.
There kind of is. Again, like in the world of coding, right? Like we've heard, a movement toward like, just if everyone just starts coding, then it'll replace a lot of jobs that people didn't have before, or whatever, right? Like it'll raise the tide in all kinds of developing nations, etc. But ChatGPT can write code. And then the funny thing is, right now, if you ask it, I started playing with it just within the last couple of weeks. And if you ask it to write code now, it will first tell you that it is not designed to write code. Like it's not meant for that purpose. And it practically says you shouldn't ask me that because that's not what it's for. And then it says, But if I were to write the code, this is what it would look like. It gives you the code.
I think I read that it passed the Google job interview or something like that with
not
its
surprised.
code.
Yeah, no, 100% legit.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But
so again, like I was alluding to earlier with, I gave bloggers as an example, but like coders, they'll go from being coders to editors, right? Like they'll take code that's AI generated and say, you just saved me, you got me 85% of the way there, and now I can make it better. Or now I can tweak it to make it more like what I really had in mind. So it got me close, but it's not quite there.
There you go. Dean liked that joke. He gave us a ha ha ha.
Nice.
He's really into the show. Thanks, Dean. So I don't normally get the ha 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 feedback, but it's good to hear because I'm not on stage, so I can't get the ha 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 or the boos.
Yeah, the laugh track. You should have
as long as he doesn't comment boo, we're okay. What other sort of what other sort of features do you see on the horizon with SaaS software?
Yeah, so definitely more automation. I'll be honest, like one of my pain points in life is that like 80% of the stuff works about 80% of the time. I keep telling my kids, like my dream for them is that when they get to be my age,
they'll leave the house.
Will work. They'll leave the house, exactly, yes. And when they leave the house, stuff will work, right? Because right now it is frustrating. It's crazy to me that in 2023, a lot of tasks are harder than they were 20 years ago.
Sure.
Like 20 years ago, there was stuff that like I had a flip phone and it worked. I could make a call.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually I could make a call or send a text and it worked. It worked pretty much every time. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I got to install the update. I can't remember my password. Like, like my retinal scan, and maybe I'm using somebody else's eyes today or whatever, right? It's ridiculous how hard it is to complete a task today without having some point of friction in the process. So that would be my dream, is that software finally gets to the point where it works.
There you go. I'm single on data all my life. Maybe we could get software to work for my dates, or like maybe I can get Open GPT. You know what I should try and do is get Open GPT to run my Tinder text messaging. Stuff.
It will do that.
Yeah. It can do all the hookup arrangements for me.
Absolutely.
Come over to the house.
It could be your concierge. That's right.
That would be fine with me. Then I could like be talking to 50 girls at once, and instead of 49 at this point.
Well, that is the point. The point is to make things more efficient. That is coming. Efficiency is coming.
Yeah. If you could fix one thing with SaaS software, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a great question. So I don't mean to go too macro level or too impact level, but that's where it's at. Like supply chain is an example. I mentioned earlier that, we can save 30% waste from farm to market. That's a real thing. Yeah. There are a lot of applications for software or just having better data where efficiency will increase and waste in a system, whatever system it is, will be reduced, and people's lives will actually be better because of that.
Maybe food expiration and stuff like that. There's a lot of food that gets thrown away. In fact, I think there was a startup or two a few years back. I don't know what happened to them, and I think they were in New York. But basically, what they would do is, restaurants that want perfect fresh food would alert them that, hey, we've got some leftover stuff, and we're going to throw this out, and they could put it to use in food shelters and other places. That might be a good place for it.
100%.
Yeah. Better they can send it to my house. One of the two.
There you go. Yeah.
Any leftovers of In-N-Out? Let's make a SaaS program for that. So you guys are actively looking for companies. You've got the mastermind. Let's talk a little bit more about the mastermind, if you would.
Sure.
How does that work? Is there a Facebook group on it, or how do you maintain that?
No, the way it works is, there is actually a SaaS. There are a few good SaaS platforms now for managing masterminds. So that's just the whole space of like masterminds has matured a bit over the last 3 years, where it's kind of gone mainstream a little bit. I'm assuming there are masterminds now for like knitting clubs and bridge clubs and everything else at this point.
I've got one for my OnlyFans.
There you go. Yeah. So we use a platform called Nucleus, and we meet monthly. on Zoom calls. So we've got a monthly check-in the first Wednesday of every month. And I'll just walk you through it. So we go through a process called breakthroughs and blockers. So biggest breakthrough since the last meeting, any blockers that would prevent you from hitting your goal. And if there are blockers, we solve those in real time as best we can. And for any of you who are thinking about joining a mastermind or starting a mastermind, the real value of any mastermind is networking, right? So what I tell my members is the goal of this mastermind is that as a member, you're never more than 2 degrees of separation from the expert you need to talk to. So if you have some problem in your business and you bring it up on a call, either the expert you need is on the call or somebody on the call is friends with the expert and they're going to connect you in real time while we're on the call and say, oh yeah, I saw that in my business once and I called so-and-so and I'm going to connect you guys right now. And they do.
That's awesome.
And that's the juice.
If you have a great idea for some SaaS software, but you don't know how to code and you don't have a computer, is that a great way to network and maybe find help?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there are masterminds for startups and there are masterminds for like mergers and acquisitions. So there's groups for everything.
And then tell us a little bit about your team. You've got quite an elite team you've got on your website I'm looking at.
I do. Super excited about the team that I've assembled. We really do cover all areas of software, company management, right? So my CTO is certainly well-versed and well-experienced. And he and I met on a transaction 7 years ago where I bought the company. He had built the software, and then I hired him into my company. Another gentleman that I'm partnered with was EVP sales at Salesforce.com in the early days, reporting directly to Benioff. And he's got a passion for cutting 6 and 7 and 8 figure deals in software. So we really, what we look to bring to the table is all of the capital and talent that a SaaS founder would need to level up. Get to the next level, accelerate growth. So,
who do you think if you could say one piece of software is the best SaaS software, and just from all aspects of it, roundabout, front to back, what do you think is the best built SaaS software?
Well, there is one that I like the most as I don't know, kind of from the bleacher seats, which is Twilio. So for those of you that don't know Twilio, it's the backbone for virtually all SMS text messaging software on the planet. And what I love about that is that Twilio is never going to be a household name. It's not Apple, right? It's not Microsoft. It's this seemingly small company that built open source code for text messaging services. And for a subscription, you can start using their backbone and start sending text messages for your business. It's awesome. And then the messages could be, appointment reminders or whatever. And so what I love about it is that it has turned into a multi-billion-dollar company that mostly people are never going to know. If you walk down the street and ask 100 people if they've heard of Twilio, you might find one, but you're probably not going to find somebody. And yet it's this amazingly successful and smart application.
They did. I remember back in the day when they first came out, and I think they had an app where they were doing something, and then they pivoted to that, if I recall correctly. I might be crazy. Oh, well, we all know that.
That sounds right.
They pivoted. They had like something they first came out with, and everyone was using it, back in those Wild West social media days. There were so many great apps that were just coming out every day. You'd open up your phone and just like, holy crap, look at this. And people trying different things. And if I recall it, they have some sort of SMS or text thing. And then they flipped to that model of doing the thing. And I'm like, well, that's really weird, because I think I still have an account with them from way back then. And but yeah, evidently it's a huge thing. What's the worst SaaS product you've ever seen, or do you want to throw rocks at that and make it public?
Yeah, that's a little harder, but let me think. Microsoft. There's the jokes about like if Microsoft built cars and every time they had an update, you'd have to repaint all the lines on the street. There are a lot of Microsoft jokes that are like that, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not unfounded.
Last week we had a guy who came on the show, and a gentleman who came on the show. A guy who came on the show. That sounds rude. A gentleman who came on the show, and he'd written a beautiful book about his life going from being poor and growing up in poverty to being one of the top attorneys for Microsoft. And he's like he's worked under Bill Gates. He was on, I think, last week or week before, and I don't think the show's live yet. I think it can't be published till February when the book gets released. And so we had him on, and Microsoft pushed an update that morning, and like we got on and nothing was working. Like the cameras, all the comms were thrown into the garbage basically. And so it took us about 3 or 4 restarts to get everything set the way it normally is set for the show. And we normally don't have the problem. We just, come on the show and it's here. The green screen wasn't working. Like it was really bad, and we had to apologize endlessly. But it was his company's fault.
Nice.
So it was funny, but he's one of these high-powered attorneys for Microsoft, does their big deals, and he's worked under Bill Gates and did I say Steve Jobs earlier? Let's do that, did I? I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. I am losing my mind. It's Monday. And then he's worked under one of the other CEOs, I think, after Steve Jobs. The name escapes me, but it was kind of ironic. But now that we've thrown red meat at Microsoft, I'll wait for the C&Ds to come from them, I guess.
You go.
Since we've had the attorney on the show, I'll know who to call and negotiate with.
That's right.
Well, anything more we want to tease out in your company or tell people about who you guys are and what you do?
So again, we're all SaaS all the time. We were joking earlier, I'm pretty sassy. That's a real thing.
With the beard too, the Fu Manchu. Yeah. Very sassy.
Do you wear
the
Viking helmet in my office?
Do you? See it. Yeah. I would wear it with the Fu Manchu outfit that's on Kill Bill, that white robe.
Right.
Yes. I bet that gets the chicks too. I should try that. I might grow that out. I grew my beard out one time.
Now you're motivated.
Yeah, there you go. That'll work good in my Tinder profile, I think. I don't know. Or it won't. It's not like it can make a difference, probably. I'm old and I don't have that hot alpha body. So, I only get the divorced moms pretty much. That's how it works for me. But no, with the Fu Manchu beard, I can just judge everyone really harshly because you have that extra judging beard motion thing that you can do. So anyway, we've done everything we can to make people watch the YouTube video because nobody listen to it on audio, and they're going, we have to see the Fu Manchu beard.
Yes.
But there you go. But yeah, I would probably pay to see an episode of that. Maybe Fu Manchu does SaaS. You could do a whole commercial of that.
GPT,
yeah. That could be like a whole thing. Have you seen that thing where they I think is it Midjourney where they make the pictures of AI?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You could have you and the Midjourney AI merge with the Kill Bill thing, and then do some sort of commercial movie for your company.
That might be a real thing there.
See, this is why they pay me $5 to come on the show. You told me for like the last 5 episodes, it's $25, man. Anyway, sorry, they need to pay me one of these days. Anyway, so this has been fun to have you on the show, Kevin, and very insightful as well. And we learned about SaaS, and hopefully companies will reach out to you. What's the best ways for people if they're interested in maybe pitching you guys their business and working together with you guys? What's the best way they can reach out to you and get to do that? Yeah,
LinkedIn is a great place to start. Email is fine as well. You can fill out the contact form on the growthstacking.com. That's fine as well. I will see it. We look at businesses that typically have revenue already, even in my mastermind. So if you've got a product that you've recently taken to market, I'm happy to chat about it.
There you go.
I'll talk to any. I will talk to any SaaS founder anywhere in the world, anytime.
There you go.
I love what I do.
There you go. Well, that's awesome to be passionate about what you do, and it's changing the world. It sounds like it's making a difference. Sometimes for the better. Yeah, there you go. Until Skynet takes over, those Boston Robotics take over, and
no kidding.
Then it's game over at that point. I think when Chat GPT gets together with the Boston Dynamic robots, that's when Skynet launches. And
that sounds right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up. So there's that. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on the show, Kevin. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. This is
There
good.
you go. There you go. I wrapped it up with a whole terrorization of Terminator at the end there. Now everyone's
Awesome.
afraid. Give us your .com, Kevin, so people can find you guys on the interwebs.
growthstackinc.com.
There you go. There you go. That's what we do. We do a whole you show and then we terrorize people at the end. It's called the Chris Voss
That's
Show.
pretty cool.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate you, and don't be afraid of the Terminator. He's just an actor. It's just Arnold Schwarzenegger in drag. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss, and all those other places on the internet. LinkedIn, the big LinkedIn newsletter, the big LinkedIn 130,000 group. Check all those places out. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe, and of course, we'll see you next time. There you go. Bye bye. That was one of my